what does it mean when we call God Father? Does it mean that he's like a man sitting up on a throne in heaven? Does it mean that God is male? No, because God is genderless, all right? Gender is for people and animals and so on, for procreation. God is genderless. So God is not a male or a man sitting up on a throne. So why do we call God Father? Well, first of all, in the ancient Hebrew language, every word was either masculine or feminine. There were no neutral gender words. So when you come up with the word for God, in a very patriarchal society, they are, of course, going to pick the male gender for God. So we refer to God as Father. But that still doesn't explain why. If God is genderless, why do we call him Father? Because God relates to us as a loving parent would relate to their child. Let me read you a passage from Hosea chapter 11. Listen to this. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. It was I who taught Ephraim to walk, taking them by the arms. I led them with cords of human kindness, with ties of love. I lifted them to my cheek and bent down to feed them. That's what it means to call God Father. God relates to us as a loving parent would relate to their child. God relates to us like a loving father relates, in providing for us and watching over us and caring for us. But interestingly, as we look at these characteristics, I taught them to walk, I took them in my arms, I held them to my cheek, I bent down to feed them. Aren't those also, in a very real way, feminine characteristics? And if so, if God is genderless but also exhibits feminine characteristics, would it be theologically appropriate to refer to God as Mother? Yes. Yes, it would be. Well, then why don't we do it? Well, for millennia, people have been referring to God as Father. Now, if I were to stand up in the pulpit and refer to God as Mother, it would be such a huge distraction for people, my message would be gone. So simply because of that, we continue to refer to God as Father. And on a personal note, since I've been calling God Father all of my life, it would be very difficult for me to refer to God as Mother, simply because of habit and what I'm used to. However, there are situations in which it would be appropriate to look at God as Mother. Let's face it, not all fathers are loving. Some folks have had the misfortune of being raised with a father who was abusive, who was a tyrant, who could never be pleased. So when they hear the word God the Father, what they immediately do is associate God with their father and see God as that strict, demanding, abusive tyrant who could never be pleased. But if you allow somebody with that kind of a background to refer to God as Mother, then for them, God's true characteristics of love and compassion become more real and come to life. So, do we refer to God as Mother? Not usually. But is it theologically appropriate to do so? Absolutely. See you next time.